Hello, hello Libra. Welcome to your March 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Libra. And while I pull these cards, just go ahead, if there's any information that you want to have come up today or during this reading, go ahead and set your intention for that now. Take a deep breath into the diaphragm. And I want to let you know the theme of this month, I really wanted to gear it towards like a spring theme. So it's like growth, abundance, manifestation of whatever it is that you want. There's no limit on what I'm reading. And then some general information that I know everyone wants. So we're just gonna do the speed shuffling since you guys liked that last time, and then I'm gonna get into the reading. Okay, truth bomb for you this month. It's often best to do the opposite of what your fear is telling you to do. So true. So remember that actions are the most potent form of manifestation. So like the density of taking action yields those results that are in alignment with that. So if you're only acting out of fear, then that actually is what leads to worse outcomes. When you're willing to harness like some courage, any fleck of confidence or faith or anything, that's what leads you in the right direction. So it's about shifting away from fear. Fear is not intuition. Please, please, please remember that. And so you want to act in the opposite direction of what your fear is communicating that you need to do in order to move forward and get new data. Because fear is just old data that you need to shift out. And then the other oracle card I have is abundance. So abundance of opportunities, abundance of love, abundance of money, abundance of something. So think about what is already in abundance in your life. We're going to read more. That's also this position, what's in abundance this month. So we'll get more context on that as we go. The animal card for you is fox. So it is going to be a month where you're probably going to be doing some problem solving, figuring things out. You know, the archetype of the fox is like about being clever and sneaky, like figuring out how to navigate, you know, uncharted territory. So you have this to your advantage. I think it's going to be a lot of fresh energy and new experiences for you in March. So it'll be interesting to see how that comes up and how you respond to it. The word of the month is temper. Tune the instrument, manage your emotions diligently, don't get derailed by mania, depression, or burnout. Pace yourself, trust that it will come to you with right timing. So not getting too antsy this month. It seems like there's probably some things that are in the works that you can't rush. Now the central energy for you in March is the world. Let me see the crossing energy. The Fool. Yep. So that's what I was saying here with there being a whole bunch of new like things you've never encountered before. It may not be opportunities explicitly, it's just new situations, like things you've never dealt with before that you now have to face, new challenges, new information, new experiences. So that's what the Fool and the World combined are showing, the resolution of those old cycles, the beginning stages of kind of turning that new leaf, shifting that energy, being willing to take risks in the right ways, and that resulting in you moving forward in whatever direction you want. But the temper card, the tune the instrument, is the most appropriate way to describe the energy for you that I'm reading so far. It's about the subtle shifts. It's about, you know, shifting away from fear. It's about making decisions that are in alignment with you, not your fear. And that's what the Fool is really good at doing. And the world is just showing the healing process that you have going in March. So I think that you're going to see a lot of that come full circle, and it's actually going to set you up for the future pretty nicely. What you have moving out is the King of Swords. I think this is hyper independence, which is kind of funky for Libra. For a Libra reading, but I actually think that this might be some tendencies to either isolate, do everything yourself, or carry the majority of the burden of the work. And just because you can do it all doesn't mean you should do it all. That is a big thing that's coming up here. I think Taurus had a similar thing coming up in their reading. So it'll be interesting if you have Taurus placements too. But the King of Swords is about like mastering the mind, but the dark side of it is the isolation and hyper independence rather than collaboration and co-creation, which is more, I guess, the Libra way. And so it just depends like how you're using this and what part of the archetype of the King of Swords do you need to leave behind, and what do you want to carry with you? Let's see what is in the oncoming energy. We have the Sun. So this is more energy, vibrance, vitality, having a good time. I think that, you know, this is kind of like lean into pleasure, lean away from fear. Even if you have a lot of things going on, remember that if you deny the pleasure centers of your body, it will actually make decision-making harder. So to clarify the Sun, we have the Two of Pentacles. The decisions that you make are either going to set you up for success or they're going to put you in a more challenging position. What would you prefer? And that is how you can kind of ride this energy out, is like pick and choose what you want to give a lot of thought, attention, and energy to. Pick and choose where you want to put your action. Pick and choose, like, is this fear? Is this intuition? Is this something in the middle? And make sure that you're focusing on expansion in March rather than contraction, because I think that what you're shifting out of is probably a cycle where you were contracting instead. You were withdrawn, or like hibernating. Like that may have been the default pattern, but now it's shifting into expand, because then the thing that's jumping out at me here is this Jupiter glyph. And it's about shifting from contraction to expansion, which of course feels scary. It feels like you're jumping off a cliff when you're moving from one to the other. Now, this is the external influences in your life this month. Seven of Cups, lots of options. I think there's a lot coming your way in terms of what's around you, like what you have the ability to put your energy into. Like I said, you just want to make decisions that are in alignment with you. One isn't necessarily better than the other, unless one is going to make you feel better than the other. So that would be what's better, right? There's no actual right and wrong. That's totally subjective. I'm not accepting that because I didn't set an intention. Okay, I'm going to clarify the Seven of Cups. So what is going on in your external influences, external environment? We have the Hanged Man. Things look pretty stable. I think it's more about having the usual type of busyness or the usual offers being made. So there is somewhat of a consistency that you're able to work with. I think you're just acutely aware of where your energy is going and where you're putting your energy. So that's where it's kind of like, I don't know if there's any like radical shifts in your environment. It doesn't seem to be reading that way, because the Hanged Man kind of balances everything out. The Seven of Cups is just about be intentional about what you're choosing. Then in the, this is advice for manifestation. So whatever that is for you, whether it be money, a partner, a job, a house, literally anything. The Five of Pentacles, you have to move away from scarcity, because that, or like thinking you've already lost something, isn't that is like really setting yourself up for failure. If you think, oh, there's no way that could happen, or no, I don't think that that's gonna pan out for me. It's like, bang out that poverty mindset. Like, it's something that you need to release, and the poverty stories that are surrounding lack, because remember that a poverty story is not, I'm dirt poor. It can look like that, but this is also a poverty story. Could be, I don't have enough time. Time is a resource that you can manifest just like anything else. And I think that people really don't remember that. It's like, as soon as you need the tools, you forget them, right? Like, if there's something you need to ask for, like ease, or like easy lessons, easy information coming into your space, you can ask for that too. So the lack mentality extends to all things. It could be, oh, all the good potential partners are gone. We know that's not true. There's 7 billion people here. Like, no, you can't like write that script ahead of time. So do your best to kind of identify what is the poverty story that's coming up, or the lack mentality, and then how can you shift away from it? What's growing for you this month? Justice. So balance internally. This is your card. This also seems like you're being more realistic with what you're able to give energy to and what you're not. So kind of allowing yourself to communicate that to other people, other opportunities. It's like the communication is going to be big, because it's, you know, you don't want to people please this month. That's not going to be a good move. Instead, you can, in your most diplomatic way, be conscientious and let people know what it is that you're putting energy to and what you need to spend less time doing. I think that this is internal awareness about your desires and kind of a growing understanding of what you need and want in the long term. And so it's kind of like you're waking up all of those old patterns, and that's what's shifting out for you, so that you can welcome this sunny, you know, pleasure-based or pleasure-driven path. Like that, I think that there's a misconception between like hedonism and pleasure-based. Like that, there are two separate things. Hedonism is the dark side of a pleasure-based path. And so remember that anything in an extreme version is toxic. Like that is just what happens when we venture into extreme versions. So this is where your awareness of your own behavior and your own energy is really coming into its full maturation, essentially. And then we have what's in abundance for you this month. We have the Devil. So I'm going to clarify this. Although I do love this Devil card, it is just so cool. But this, I have a few things that are coming to mind as I'm reading this, but let me see. Okay, so for Libra, what is in abundance? So this is the Knight of Pentacles, and then we have a little Mars glyph right there. So I think the temptation might be to stay complacent, like with the way things have been going. I think that this is honestly more than just looking at like a material, oh, what's in abundance. This is really painting a picture of the fact that you always have the option of going back to doing things the way you were doing them before. That's never gone. Like you can always make those same decisions. You can always make those same mistakes if you want. And I know that sounds kind of bitchy, but it's just like, remember that by choosing yourself and choosing what's good for you again and again and again is what improves the situation. But if what you've been doing hasn't been working for you, remember that you have to challenge what is the old way. And that's what the the Knight of Pentacles is really gifted at is saying, you know, that, hey, we've done it this way, but I'm ready for something new, something better, something bigger. So this is what I'm going to do in order to make that a reality. And it's the Knight of Pentacles is action-based, not thought-based. And so that's what it's kind of like. You have equal opportunities to either expand into this vitality and energy and happiness, or you can contract into old patterns. We always have that option. So the devil just wants to remind you, you have an abundance of either opportunities to shift your life or opportunities to revert back to old ways. So it's just up to you what you decide. And remember that, like, let's say you actually have a destructive behavior that is not helping you and is actually really harmful to your well-being. The middle ground is not to take contrary action that's like hyper radical and uber positive. It would actually be to be still. Like, that would be a better path than to actually engage in the destructive behavior. So just think about little shifts and ways that you can work out the bugs this month. Now, let's get into the timeline. So if you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. It's very nice to see you. But we have the first quarter of March, second, third, and fourth quarter. That'll be where you end the month. No, they are not 4 weeks because it's a little bit more fluid than that. So just roll with it. It's roughly a week, but it's going to be different for everybody. So the first quarter, we have the Queen of Wands. This is where you really have your own energy kind of bouncing back. I think it's kind of that breath of fresh air, like, oh, I can breathe into this next step, or I have plenty of energy to give this project. It's kind of like you get to capitalize on this energy that you have going here. So just, again, be intentional. Like, what do you need to get done? What's important to you? Quarter two, we have the Five of Pentacles. This is the same thing that came up here. So really working on the abundance mindset rather than dipping into poverty, as in, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough resources, I don't have enough connections, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, I don't have enough. It's simply going to hold you back. So the sooner you can shift into reminding yourself that it's an infinite world and there's a lot you can delegate, that's going to put you in a better position than anything else. So this is where I think you're really going to start to see some scarcity pop up, and it's just your job to figure out what you want to do with it. Third quarter, we have Three of Cups, so coming back to life a little bit, like maybe you have how am I going to figure all of this out? And then it shifts into being able to enjoy yourself again. Again, taking the path of pleasure is not hedonistic. It is just embracing positive affect, positive emotions, so that you can actually live a fulfilling life. Like, you can be happy and successful. It is possible, I promise you. And the Three of Cups is about, you know, having fun, celebrating, enjoying yourself. And so I think you might actually have a guilt picture around this, like if you're working really hard and, you know, feeling burdened or whatever. It might put you in a position where, like, if you're not burning the candle at both ends at all times, then you're slacking off, and that's another poverty mindset. It's another lack mentality. So try to embrace the fun that you do have this month and not keep it all work. Wrapping up the month of March, we have the High Priestess. So getting in tune with your intuition. This is also a really great time to like listen to the downloads that you're getting, listen to the little nudges that you're receiving. That's all really important for you this month. So I think that the more you embrace it, the more clear you're going to get. So just lean into intuition, flex your intuition towards the end of the month especially, and like also check in with yourself, like focus on feeling again. That's going to be really important. Like take inventory by the end of the month, and it doesn't matter what you chose. Like, okay, maybe this month you make every wrong decision, you don't take any of this advice, and you just totally like bomb it. Like you're trying to, you know, do things that are actively bad for you. Okay, let's just go with that. By the end of the month, I would still say take inventory of how that worked for you, and if you'd like to proceed that way again. Like you can always do that. You can always, you know, make that have that option. So I would just recommend that you take inventory for the good and bad. It's totally up to you. All right, now let's get into the 3-card pick. So you can pick card 1, 2, or 3. You can pick as few or as many cards as you'd like. I mean, whatever you want to do with this is fine. Okay, card number 1, we have the Mother of Wands. So this is the same card that we had here. I think that if you're going to get something done or make something happen, it should probably happen at the beginning of the month. If you're going to take action on something big or you're trying to figure out timing, do it at the beginning of the month. Otherwise, you know, there might be, I mean, you probably can do it at any time. I think that you just want to execute on that, like, bang, strike while the iron is hot, you know, capitalize on this. Like, when you feel like you have the energy to do it, you should do it. Card number 2, we have the Daughter of Swords. This is independent thinking and exploring ideas. I honestly think this is about your internal contemplation. What are you weighing the pros and cons of? What are you trying to figure out? And just sit within yourself for some time. I'm getting like isolation in a positive light, like isolating you and your thoughts, and whatever it is you need to work on is going to be really worthwhile. So just stick to your thoughts, explore different ideas that you have, and try to feel into your body. Card number 3, we have the Father of Cups. So this is like emotional mastery, right? That's what the King of Cups is here to teach us, is emotional mastery. And it seems like you actually have a lot of opportunities this month to make decisions that support you in mastering your own emotions and your own path. If there's a time to be vulnerable, to be real, to be raw, to kind of like let it all hang out and take those emotional risks, this is the month to do it if that's something that is weighing on your plate. And also, if you're like asking about a situation, the answer is to be vulnerable and be honest. It's not about setting yourself up in the hopes that another person will respond in a specific way, moving away from emotional expectation and just into you taking care of your side of the street. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you today. Don't forget, if you want to work with me one-on-one, I absolutely love working with each and every one of you. It's an absolute blast. Go ahead and go to onyxhealing.com or check out the description box for all the different ways to work with me and all my services that I have to offer. If you are interested in love and relationship readings or weekly sign-specific readings, those are on my Patreon. Check that page out. Link is in the description box. And until next time, follow me on Instagram at Onyx Healing, because we've been having a ton of fun on there, and I will talk to you all later. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.